Hi everyone, it's Kate from the Fold Line. I am back this week to talk all things sewing bee. You may have noticed we have two guests with us this week. We have got Patrick and Esme. Very excited to have them with us, keeping us company, letting us know their thoughts. I'm going to show you them because they are so incredible. So when you get them, we sell them in the shop. They come with just the line drawing of them on the piece of fabric, and you can kind of make them yourself. And then the lovely Mel has pimped them and given them amazing outfits. I mean, how cool are these? So yeah, you can get them and you can just sew them. I mean, they're quite fun, aren't they? You can sew them just as they are with just the line drawing, and on the back you can see their silhouettes. Or you can pimp them and add your own costumes for them, and they're really, really fun, and I thought it'd be quite nice to have them with us while we are doing the show. So I will pop a link down below if you're interested in them, because they're quite fun, like gifts to give to people. You could make them up and, you know, dress them, or just give them as they are. And yeah, they're so, yes, we're very excited to have Patrick and Esme with us. I'm going to put them here. So they're going to join us each week to let us know their thoughts. It's actually quite nice to have them with me. It's quite reassuring. So last night was kind of, the theme was kind of sports week. They had 3 challenges and we're going to go through them. Now, before I get into this, very, very excitingly, they have released pictures of the outfits that have been made. So I'm going to be able to, going forward, add in the picture of their final garment, so you can actually see what it looks like rather than me explaining it badly. And I think it'll just make all the difference. So it's very exciting. They've never done this before, and yeah, it's really nice because it'll make everything a lot easier for you guys to kind of visualize. So let's get started. First challenge, it was a 7-piece cap. Now the cap style was almost like a cycling cap, so it is not the traditional cap, kind of 6-piece traditional cap. I looked for quite a long time. I actually couldn't find a pattern, so I didn't do amazingly on this one. But we do have, if you ever wanted to make a cap, we do have a really good hat pattern. It's from Fibre Move, and it's called the Minu cap. And yeah, it's got the kind of, it's a very traditional baseball hat. And if you ever wanted to make one, then that one is there as well. But if anyone has found that kind of cycling style cap pattern, let me know. Ditto to anything I mention. If you've got a better suggestion, we're all ears, because we're just, you know, we're just trying to work it out. Very cheekily, not very cheekily, but annoyingly last night, I don't know if anyone noticed, when they zoomed in on the patterns, which usually was our bit where we could freeze it and work out, they've now blurred out the name, the brand, and the kind of number. So it's going to make it a little bit more tricky for us, but we're not going to give up. We're not going to let that get in the way. Yes, so anyway, that was the first challenge. Second challenge, where they were given 3 cycling vests and they had to make it into an outfit, which was really interesting. For anyone, I have a friend who collects cycling vests, and it did make me think he'd probably be quite stressed about watching them being cut up. But they did really well. There was some interesting, I mean, it's always quite zany, isn't it? And then the last kind of made to measure, the theme was athleisure, which is kind of athletic wear that you wear like to kind of not to do exercise, to sort of lounge around in. We had a better week this week, team. I know everyone felt my pain last week, but we've had a much better week in terms of patterns. It was also quite hard because usually people make 1 or 2 things, but quite often this week there were people who made 3 items. So it was definitely a challenge, but I think we have done quite well. So I'm going to get started. First up, we have got Kaz. So she made this really nice, quite simple little set. It was a skirt and top. and they work really well together. I thought the fabrication choice was great. So we had a look and we found one. This is a pattern from Etsy. It's called Majesty Collections Crop Top and Skirt, if you were interested in making it. I think she did really well, and I definitely think the people who went slightly more simple had a better, actually they all did really well actually. It didn't feel like a really stressful one to watch this time. Next up we have Dan, and to be honest with you, I was like, I'm never going to be able to find this pattern. It is so unusual. It's basically like a corset hoodie at the top, and it was just so unusual that I was like, I don't think I'm going to find it. I started looking at swimming costume patterns, and then the lovely Mel emailed and was like, I found it. It's it is an Etsy pattern, and the company's called Studio of Art Patterns, and it's called the Pattern Hoodie Corset. And we're pretty sure this is absolutely bang on. He then added some extra bits to it and kind of made it his own, but we're pretty sure that that one is absolutely spot on, which I, to be honest with you, didn't think we were going to find at all. So we were quite pleased with that. Then we had a really sweet set from Gaynor. She made a little sort of like little crop top with a pair of leggings and an elasticated waist. Very, very simple, basically like a piece of fabric attached to elastic skirt. So I didn't do the pattern for that because I thought, you know, we can all do that. That's just literally attaching fabric to an elastic band. I actually think we were bang on with this one. And they're kind of, well, you'll see from the pictures, they're photographed in the same fabric. They're different patterns, but they're kind of to be worn together. So it's the Simplicity 8560 and the 8561. So the top was quite interesting, so you can see at the back it's got this cross detail. So that was what we looked for, and it also has it has princess seams over the bust. So I knew that was right. Then the bottoms, I wanted to find they had these little kind of different colour panels at the top of their kind of just under the waistband. So I looked really hard, and I definitely think that this pattern, if you look at the line drawing, has that feature. So I'm fairly sure that was right. Next up we had Glendora, and I absolutely love this. She was like, I don't like sportswear, I don't want to do it, so I'm going to make sportswear stuff that you do for yoga that actually is made out of linen. And I was like, yes, absolutely amazing. And it was a very chic outfit, and yeah, it was great. So this was a nice one for me to hunt out. The pattern that I've chosen for the top is a jersey pattern, but I think you could use a woven for this. If you've got another suggestion, let me know. I used the Ali Olsen Hive top. It had the same detail, the stitch detail, the kind of the zip up and the high neckline. I thought that one was really close. I was like, this is a nice, easy one. And then for the bottoms, because they were quite a simple pair of bottoms, I chose the Closet Core Sepia pants. I thought these were really nice. They were wide leg, kind of loose fitting, and kind of fitted the brief. I will say that there are a lot of wide leg elasticated top to trousers to choose from, so you might actually have a pair at home already that you could use for yourself if you wanted to recreate this look, a very chic look. Then we had Jess, and she made this really sweet, I loved it actually, it was like a little like unitard that was cut off to shorts, so it was like a little short set, and then a kind of boxy oversized hoodie over the top, and she'd put the year that she was born on it, which I thought was great. Oh, Esme, she's having a bit of a rebellion. So patterns for this: the Kwick Sew 2722 for the unitard. I will say this is a vintage pattern, but you can buy some of these on Etsy, so it's worth having a look for. And then for the oversized top, we put the Fibre Mood Mika top, which would work nicely. I would recommend sizing up on these to make it kind of bigger and boxy, but yeah, we were pretty pleased with this. Then next up we had Kit. So he made this great outfit, and again, this was a tricky, not tricky one, but there there were 4 parts, so four different patterns we needed to find. A bra top, a pair of cycling shorts, and then he made this sort of amazing cropped hoodie in a sort of sheer mesh with a sheer pair of shorts over the top. So I thought we had a bit of a look, and I think that the Made by Wardrobe Della top and Lottie shorts, or I might have got that the other way. There's a Della and Lottie, both from Made by Wardrobe, top and bottom set, would work perfectly. The bra shape was exactly the same. You can see that there's a picture of leggings, but you can make them, cut them off into shorts. That would work perfectly. For the hoodie, we went for the Barra Studio Sevilla dress, Sevilla, I think you say that, Sevilla. The Barra Studio Sevilla hoodie. I picked this because it's quite oversized and boxy, and you could totally make this in that sort of sheer mesh. It would work quite well. The thing that he did, I think, that worked, you'd need to cut it a bit shorter, and then it looked like he'd sewn a channel in the bottom where you could then make it tight to create that sort of silhouette that he had. And for the shorts, I went for the Closet Core Sepia again, because I thought those would work really well. Elasticated at the top, they're quite wide, they were quite wide legged. He'd put some lovely kind of pocket details on, which was great, or little zip details. And yeah, but I thought those would work really nicely as a 4 for him. So next up we have Novello. And she made, it was a 3-piece that we had to look for, this quite kind of chic, cropped, I mean super cropped hoodie. It ended here, but it had full sleeves and the hood. And it was quite a distinctive pattern, and actually Órla used the same one. So she had that, then she had a little bra top with a cutout detail underneath the bust, and then a pair of kind of flared trousers, which were really cute actually. So for the bra top, we thought the June Studio cutout bra was perfect. It had that little detail, and we were like, yeah, that is spot on. So really pleased with that, because I think that worked well. The cropped hoodie was from Pattern Couture. It's an Etsy one, and it's called the Bolero Shrug, if you were interested in making it yourself. Because it was quite distinctive shape, there weren't, as soon as we found it, we're like, yeah, this is definitely the right one. And then for the trousers, the McCall's 8368. We thought those worked really perfectly, the same proportion, so I'm hopeful that that was right for that one. Then we move on to Órla, and she, again, as I said, used the same pattern as Novello, and hers was, actually I found the bottoms of this really hard, so I think we definitely got the Pattern Couture Bolero Shrug right. She then used, her bra top was quite simple, so I found the Simplicity 9857, which I thought really similar. You could also look, I was thinking at this sort of style of top, you could look at bikini top patterns would work really well for this as well. And then for the bottoms, it was a pair of joggers with the pocket was stitched on the outside, which was the detail that I found hardest to make. And then they were cut without a cuff at the bottom. So I spent quite a long time looking, but I think the Butterick 7014 worked really well. You would just leave off the cuffing and cut it like so, and I thought that was pretty good for that one. Then we had Peter. He made a sort of skater pair of shorts with a long sleeve top. I actually really like this. I thought it was a bit of unfair. They were a bit mean to him, I thought. But the top was like, yeah, long sleeve, quite simple. He self-drafted it, so we didn't include that one. But the shorts, I was pretty sure the McCall's 8264 had a really similar feeling. They're quite boxy. I think they would work perfectly. You might want to size up if you want to make them oversized. Then we had Saffie. She made it was a 3-piece from her. I loved the concept of her outfit. It was really clever and interesting. Yeah, so let's talk about her. So she had a little polo neck with a vest over the top with a zip up the front, and then a pair of kind of technical shorts that had like pockets and things. So let's start with the little polo neck. So this one is a Nomi pattern. It's the ME2015, very simple little polo neck base layer, but actually quite hard to find. There aren't many of these for men. Then I thought for the shorts, the Simplicity 3110 worked really well. It had the big pockets. Proportionally, it felt very similar. It's actually a really lovely pattern set with the shirt as well. And then for the sort of top piece, I couldn't find anything that was perfect because it's quite a niche item, but I thought as a starting point, the Simplicity 9651 would work really well as a starting point. It's got the zip up the front, which I thought was important, and you'd have to sort of change the shoulder part. But I think as a sort of basic concept, I think that one would work quite well. Then we've got Stuart, who did a tennis themed one, and he did this quite interesting cropped oversized jumper. It had piping on it. It was quite distinctive. This one is from Etsy as well. It's from Sewing Machiner, and it's called the Oversized Pullover. This is, I'm pretty sure this one is right just from the cut lines and the piping that's included in the sample. I think that one was right. And then for the shorts, we went for the McCall's 8485. I thought that worked quite well. They kind of feel quite similar, and also tennis. So that one was for Stuart. And then last but not least, we've got Yasmin, who did a sort of men's rugby shirt with a pair of cycling shorts at the bottom. The rugby shirt pattern, we went for the Simplicity 9614. It's cut quite oversized. You can see in the picture it's a dress, but you could obviously make it a bit shorter. But actually hers was cut quite long in the sample, so she might have used just it as it was. And then for the shorts, we went for the Fair Trade Duathlon shorts, mainly because hers had details on the side of the shorts. They had little kind of details, and I thought that those ones would work really perfectly because it's got that seam line, so you can then kind of create and copy. So I hope that was helpful. Much better week this week. I feel like we've got more to tell you. Obviously me, Patrick and Esme will be back next week to talk to you about patterns. And if you were interested in one of these, I'll pop links down below, and I'll also pop a link to the blog post. So if there's any patterns that you were interested in and wanted to have a bit more of a look, there is a blog post with them all there for you as well. Right, I'm going to let you get on with your days, and we'll see you next week. Bye.